Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Iti Namini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Asri Tatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Iti Namini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvese Sashunyavadi Pasacha Tarini Vanchakalpatarvyascha Kripasindubhyaivacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pandulagayate grim yat kripatamahad vande Shri Gurudina Taranam Paramanam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Akanda Mandalakaram Vyaptena Characharam Tatpadanda Shitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So thank you very much Acharyanath Prabhu and his team for having us here to share some few points concerning service in the Grihastha Ashram. Shukadeva Goswami mentions a verse in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam where he says, Kalena snana sauchabhyam samskarais danai santushtya Sudyanti danais santustya dravani atmatma vidyaya kalena snana sauchabhyam samskarais tapasya jaya Sudyanti danai santushtya dravani atma vidyaya. He says, with time, kalena, with time, everything becomes purified. Snana, by taking a bath, the body is purified. Sauchabhyam, by washing, things can be kept purified. Samskarais, by the process of samskaras, birth is purified. Tapasya jaya, by tapasya, the senses are purified. Sudyanti danai santushtya, by offering our gifts and worshipping the Brahmanas, offering gifts to the Brahmanas and worshipping the Brahmanas, our property becomes purified. By charity, the mind becomes purified. By Krishna consciousness, the soul becomes purified. In other words, Shukadeva Goswami is mentioning the various processes by which the living entity can become purified. the process of Krishna consciousness is a process of purification. That is why we are here, to be purified. And everything and anything that will help us to achieve this goal of purification, it should be accepted. The Grihastha ashram is an ashram. Generally, when the Grihastha ashram is mentioned, it is associated with sense enjoyment, sense gratification. But Srila Prabhupada emphatically says the Grihastha ashram is also an ashram for spiritual advancement. It is not only in the Brahmacharya ashram or in the Vanaprastha ashram or in the Sannyas ashram that advancement is possible, and that of the Grihastha ashram there is no advancement. No. Srila Prabhupada says that in all the ashrams, whether one is a Brahmacharya ashram, Grihastha ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, or Sannyas ashram, one can make progress if we simply engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The challenge in the Grihastha ashram is because of additional responsibility. One has to take care of the wife, one has to take care of the children, one has to be responsible for his dependents, and so the load increases. And if one is not careful, one may be distracted from pursuing this very important activity of Krishna consciousness. When we got married in Krishna consciousness. We had a lot of challenges, definitely, because in the ashram at that time, there were no married couples. Everyone was single. So when we chose to get married, it was a big challenge. It was like we are deviating from the normal. It was considered a deviation from the normal because everyone was single. Why do you want to get married? But we stood our ground. We said we want to be in an ashram where we shall feel more comfortable to serve. And Srila Prabhupada makes a very important point in the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the story of Gajendra. Gajendra was attacked by a crocodile in the heavenly planet, Trikuta mountain. There's a lake near the Trikuta mountain. And the demigods, they used to go there to play. So this Gajendra, he went there with his female elephants to enjoy the lake. And then a crocodile attacked Gajendra, and for 1,000 celestial years, the fight was on. But as time went on, Gajendra became weaker and weaker. whilst the crocodile became stronger and stronger. Srila Prabhupada explains that because the crocodile is a water animal, so therefore in the water he became stronger. He was breathing all right, he was eating all right, he was living all right, because that's his natural environment. So he became stronger and stronger by the day. Meanwhile, Gajendra is not an animal of the water. It's a land animal. So therefore, remaining in the water without food, he became weaker and weaker. And so it was obvious that Gajendra was going to lose the battle. So when Gajendra realized that he was losing the battle, he immediately picked up a lotus flower. And from his previous life, because in his previous life, he was Indradumina Maharaj, who was cursed by Agastya Muni to take the body of a dumb animal, because he had not received Agastya Muni with his disciples properly. So he was cursed. But he did not forget his devotional practices from the previous life. So therefore, when he found himself in a very serious difficulty, he picked up a lotus flower with his tusk or trump and began to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Vishnu, Hari, immediately descended from the skies and pulled the elephant along with the crocodile out of the water. And with his chakra, he chopped the head of the crocodile and delivered the elephant. Simultaneously, he delivered the elephant and he delivered the crocodile. The crocodile was a Gandharva who also misbehaved and was cursed to become a crocodile. So in those purports, Srila Prabhupada, he elaborated that because the elephant, even though he's so strong, even though he's so powerful, but once the elephant was in a strange environment, in a water environment, his strength was minimized. So Srila Prabhupada explains that every devotee has to fight the battle. He has to fight the crocodile of Maya. Maya is like a crocodile. It's grabbing our legs, grabbing our feet. It's trying to drag us inside the ocean of Maya. And a devotee has to fight. So Srila Prabhupada explains that every devotee must fight from the platform where he is stronger. So, brahmachari life is the best because there are no family encumbrances, no family responsibilities. One can just concentrate on his sadhanas, his service. That is wonderful. But it is not everyone who can lead or live a brahmacharya life. So those who want to serve Krishna in the grihastha life, in the grihastha ashram, they have to be encouraged. That is for sure. We will have many devotees in the grihastha ashram, more than the number of devotees in the brahmacharya ashram. That is for sure. In fact, 90% of the devotees in ISKCON are either going to be grihasthas, or they are either grihasthas or they are going to be grihasthas. So we have a larger population of our membership entering the Grihastha ashram. Because that is a natural position for many, many persons in this age of Kali. So therefore, ISKCON management, we have to find style of management. We have to include in our management this new arrangement. Just as Acharya Prabhu and his team are thinking, these devotees are doing such important service. These devotees, they are committed to supporting the project. At the same time, they want to remain grihasthas. How do we encourage them? I think that's the point. From our personal experience, we can say, if you dedicate your life in the service of Krishna, in the service of Guru, rest assured, Krishna will take care of you. That is the experience we can give you. We have no job. We have been full-time devotees from the very beginning. We lived in the temple. We got married in the temple. Of course now, by Krishna's mercy, we live near the temple. One devotee has sponsored the building of a house, 4-bedroom house for us. It's within a walking distance of the temple, and that's where we live. We have no income. No income. But Krishna is so kind that whatever we need, Krishna provides. It's amazing. Even till today, people are wondering, how is it that Srivas and his wife, they have no source of income, but they travel around the world. They have even more than people who are working. Honestly. We have 2 cars in the house. As we are sitting here, the cars are parked in the house. We don't use them. I don't know how much the cars cost. Somebody just bought it and said, Prabhu, take for your service. It's unbelievable. What I can say is, the more we devote, the more we dedicate, the more we sacrifice for Krishna, Krishna will make all the necessary arrangements. That is for sure. So, never get discouraged. People will come forward with all kinds of ideas. We had it. People came, even at a point, our authorities were saying, go and get a job. Go get a job. And we said no. At a point, they said, go live some miles away from the temple, because there was no facility in the temple. So some arrangement was made somewhere, but it was so far from the temple. If we had gone to live there, it would have affected our sadhanas. Because you can't come from there to attend Mangalarati in the morning. You can't come from there to attend Bhagavatam class in the morning. And so if you're not attending Mangalarati on a regular basis, you're not attending classes on a regular basis, you become weaker and weaker like Gajendra, and you will find yourself under the grip of the crocodile, and before you are aware, you are drawn into the water. So I consulted my wife. Our authorities have arranged a flat for us about 1 hour drive from the temple. Should we go? She said, Prabhu, don't worry. We will live in the temple. We will live separately. Because they said, no ashram for you. If you want to live in the temple, I, as a man, will live with the brahmacharis. and my wife will live with the brahmacharinis. So that is the choice. Otherwise, you have to go to the flat which has been arranged for you somewhere. He said, Prabhu, we are not going anywhere. We will remain in the ashram. She will live with the brahmacharinis, and I will live with the brahmacharis. Because we felt we have joined Krishna consciousness for the purpose of advancement. We have not joined Krishna consciousness because we want some convenience. No. We want to sacrifice. We want to do some service for Krishna and Guru. So we won't go to that flat that they were. Actually, we were the first couple in the temple. We were the first couple. So it was a bit difficult for the management and for us. But we just preferred to live very simply, and our concentration was Krishna. So we rejected that offer, and we remained in the temple. She lived in the brahmachari ashram and lived with the men. And so most of our life, even though we're married, but we never stayed together. But eventually, Krishna provided a beautiful place for us to live. He provided everything we needed. That is a fact. That is a practical experience that we've had as a couple in the temple. So, as I said, there were some devotees who were saying, Prabhu, you cannot live in the temple as a grihastha. It is difficult. You cannot eat your own food. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. And the temple will not provide these things. So go get a job and take care of yourself. I said, well, I have joined this movement not because I'm looking for a job. I've joined this movement because I want to purify my life. I want to go back home to Godhead. I want to understand where I come from, understand myself as a soul. This is why I've joined this movement. And so if there is any austerity I have to undergo to achieve this goal, why not? So we decided to stay. And we are so happy that we stayed, we sacrificed. And I remember one time my Guru Maharaj, he called me. They were at a GBC meeting in Mayapur. And then in that year, they were trying to find out in which country there was no divorce. There was no divorce between couples. In which country? And as they went to country after country after country, at that time, Ghana was the only country where there was not a single divorce between devotees. And so they tried to analyze what is the reason for this, development. And Guru Maharaj, he said, it's because of Srivas and his wife. He said, because we are showing such an example and we are setting the example for other devotees to follow. Of course, the story is different, but at that time, there was not a single divorce in Ghana because we were giving the example, we were showing the example. Despite there were a lot of challenges, but we just wanted to serve as a grihastha couple under any circumstance for the glory of Krishna, for the glory of Guru, and for our own purification. And so we got some recognition. We got some international recognition. Guru Maharaj called me and said, Srivas, I'm very happy with your marriage. I'm very happy with your grihastha ashram because today you have set such an example for devotees to follow. But it has a price. There's a price to pay. You have to be ready to sacrifice your personal convenience, your personal sense gratification for Krishna, and Krishna will reciprocate with you for sure. So what I can say is that if you have a desire to render service, full-time service to this project, this morning I was saying this project is so important. It is on the same status with the TOVP, if not more, because Srila Prabhupada, he is the cause of all these things happening in the world, including TOVP. If Srila Prabhupada had not appeared, if Srila Prabhupada had not gone west, if Srila Prabhupada had not initiated this society, this movement, there is no question of developing the Mayapur project, the Bombay project, the Vrindavan project, and all other projects around the world. So if Srila Prabhupada had appeared and caused the development of these projects, why don't we glorify Srila Prabhupada? So this project is meant to glorify Srila Prabhupada. And so to commit yourselves to ensuring that this project materializes and becomes an important international project glorifying Srila Prabhupada, it is something you should go for. It's something you should be eager to be part of. Despite discouraging voices, despite comments, statements from different kinds of people, it is expected. So, kindly support the project, get involved in the project, make some sacrifices for the project, and I guarantee you, you will not regret. As we have not regretted. We have not regretted living in the temple and dedicating our lives in the service of Krishna. We have not regretted. We are very happy, very satisfied. We want to do more because we can see how Krishna is reciprocating with us. We can see it. Rishi, you have something to say? She's very shy. She's not a public speaker. But you can say something at least. Sorry, Mataji is not here. What are your realizations you can share? As Uncle Hester, for over 40 years. I joined 81, she joined 82. So for the last 43 years, 42 years, we engaged in Srila Prabhupada's service. She has done a lot of service, a lot of service. She's a driver, she's a cook, she's a pujari, Sankirtan devotee, organizer. She does all. Nobody drives my car, she drives. She drives. Very experienced driver. She has driven the Sankirtan party, she has driven the Prisharam truck, she has driven all kinds of things she has done. She's a very experienced driver. Their father was a government driver. So at a very little age, the father taught her how to drive. She began to drive at the age of 13 or 14. So she must be driving for like 60 years or so. So she does a lot of services. It's amazing She drives, she cooks, she does deity service, she sews for the deities, she does Sankirtan book distribution, she organizes the mothers, and many more things she does. And that is what she has been doing all these years. Actually, she's my backbone. I have to say that. She's my backbone. Hare Krishna.
You said she's driving for 60 years.
Yes.
So that means what is your age?
We are over 70, about 71, 72 years.
Oh, you look like 50. 71. Amazing.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, what I can say is that if anyone has a question, you should ask. I'm able to explain more things.
I think you should get a microphone closer to your mouth, or you move closer to the microphone.
So anybody has any questions, Mataji will answer. Mataji, whenever we see in Grihastha life, there's always concern of finances. So, especially because mothers are concerned to make sure everybody is happy, children are happy, husband is happy, everything is taken care, and everything requires Lakshmi. Without Lakshmi, it's very difficult to take care of family and make sure all family members are happy. So, can you throw some light on this aspect?
Well, that's the fact. The issue is Lakshmi. The issue is finances. What I've seen in many places is that devotees who are full-time and the pastors, some kind of allowances are given to them. That's what I've seen in many temples. Some minimal allowances. There are two categories. There are those who completely depend on the temple. Maintains them, temple pays their rent, temple pays everything, all the expenses, like that. They are given very minimal allowances. And there is the other category. They don't want to be maintained by the temple. They want to render full-time service, but they don't want to be maintained by the temple. They want to maintain themselves. They want to feed themselves. They want to live in a place of their choice. So temple gives them some amount of allowance. And from there they can plan their life, they can do whatever they want to do. Like that. Because there are different levels of renunciation. The more one is detached, the more one is renounced, the less he needs material facilities, for sure. So, even in the Grihastha ashram, there are very, very detached Grihastha couples, very detached. And the range goes from very detached to very attached. So the one who is more detached, he doesn't need much. He doesn't need very much. A little support will keep him happy and actively engaged in the service. And then you go from very, very detached to very attached, or less detached. And depending on their services, the value of their services. So you have to consider how to keep them happy, to keep them engaged, to keep them satisfied. So management has to sit down and fashion out how this can be done. In some temples, what they do is they request the wealthy members of the community to put some money into some treasury bills or some stock exchange, and the profit goes solely for maintaining the Grihastha couples who are rendering full-time service. But the point here is, the more you are detached, the less material requirements you need. And the more you are detached, the more you can render service without any motivation. And that unmotivated service is what actually pleases Krishna and pleases Guru. And that will draw Krishna's mercy. Just as I said, in the beginning, we just have to forget about our personal pleasure and just concentrate on doing services. And for a long period of time, we just did that. At one point, when I was in Nigeria, I would be the temple president in one temple, and she would be in a different temple training the mothers, because we are pioneers. So, most of the times, I'm in a different temple doing my service, and she's also in a different temple doing her service. Because we did not feel that the relationship between us is more important than rendering service. We felt the service was more important, and so we did not bother whether we are together or we're not together. The important thing was to render service. So the more detached a devotee is or a couple is, and the more attached we are to Krishna's service, the better. Krishna will personally take care of us. But nevertheless, it is the responsibility of the management to figure out some way of supporting them with at least the basic needs, so that whatever they want, they don't have to struggle, they don't have to think about it, because they are rendering such wonderful services. We cannot run away from finances. At least some basic needs are there, and that has to be provided. That is the experience I can share with many of the temples I have seen, or I've visited, I've interacted with. So you have to sit down with your team, come up with some ideas in this area, find some donor, some well-wisher who has some interest in maintaining the Grihastha couples who are dedicating their lives fully in the service of Krishna and need to be maintained, to be encouraged, and some fund can be provided for taking care of them. But the main thing is dedication. The more we are dedicated to Krishna, the more Krishna will make some arrangement. Even whatever the management is trying to arrange, it would also come from your dedication. If you are very dedicated, Krishna will bring some people who will assist. Just as I said, we never ask anybody to give us a car. We never approach anybody asking for a car. Never. But we're just there. When a devotee came to me and said, Prabhu, I see you always taking public transport for your service. I think I should give you a car. I said, okay, if you give us, all the better. And then one day he just come to the temple, who went to the temple and said, this car is here for you. Now, after a number of years, the same devotee came back and said, this car is too small for you. I want to give you a bigger car. And that was that he brought a bigger car. Even now he's talking, he says, Prabhu, with the service that you have been given, I think you need a better car. I said, this is all right for me. A Ford car is good for me. I said, no, I'm thinking of how to get you a bigger car. I don't need it. I just need a means of transport. I already have. But I think Krishna is inspiring him to do this service. So the whole thing is based on our own mood of service, our own determination to serve, our detachment, but the rest Krishna will take care, for sure. He's monitoring, he's taking note, and he'll reciprocate. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam satayam vabhajamyaham, Krishna says. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So Krishna is monitoring what we are doing, and Krishna is reciprocating with what we are doing. I don't know whether that answers your question. I think you asked a question about finances. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other comment, question?
Mike.
You want to say something?
We finish later, first. Later.
Okay. Any question, any comment? Feel free. We are your brothers and sisters. We are here to just share our experience with you. Anything that bothers your mind, bring it out. Anything that is disturbing you, bring it out. Any thought you have, we are ready to look at it carefully from a practical point of view. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
You made a point about practicing morning program and classes in sadhana properly.
Yes.
So can you speak more about it, like how it should be for us, like for brahmachari devotees, or there for them there's it's just like everyone is there, so they come and peer pressure devotees. So how we should take it and.
Thank you. Yeah, sadhana is very crucial for our progress in Krishna consciousness. It doesn't matter whether we are in the brahmacharya ashram, whether we are in the grihastha ashram, whether we are in the vanaprastha ashram, or whether we are in the sannyas ashram. Our daily sadhanas are very important. Sadhanas are like our nourishment. This is our spiritual nourishment. And so, as we know, if you don't nourish the body, it becomes weak. Similarly, if you don't nourish the soul, it becomes weak. That is why the acharyas, they recommend sadhu sangha. In the association of devotees, sadhana becomes alive. So therefore, we have to associate, and by association, we can nourish our soul by hearing, by chanting, by remembering, by serving, and so on. So, sadhana is so important, irrespective of our ashram. And that is why when we were given a flat more than an hour away from the temple, we said no. We prefer to stay in the temple so that we can have the full benefit of attending morning programs, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, rendering services, and that has paid off. If we had accepted the comfort of living far away from the temple, probably our devotional life would have been hampered at some point we have become weaker and weaker, and as you get weaker and weaker, you take shelter of sense gratification. That is a fact. As you become weaker and weaker, you have no other choice but to go deeper into sense enjoyment. And that is the beginning of the trouble. But as you are closer to the temple and you are participating in the sadhanas on daily basis, you become stronger and stronger. And then what happens? You become more and more detached. So, even if a devotee has to live outside, because the temple doesn't have the facility right now, but we should not stay far away from the temple. And we should not miss programs. As soon as you start missing one program after another, gradually we will become like Gajendra. Gradually our strength will decrease. And as our strength decreases, then we will resort to sense gratification. So, Prabhu mentioned that there will be Grihastha ashram within the complex. There will be guest rooms, there will be Grihastha ashrams, there will be everything within the complex that can cater for all categories of devotees. So that is a good plan. But in the time being, before this wonderful project manifests, devotees have to live somewhere. But we should not live so far away that it becomes difficult for us to participate in the morning sadhanas. Sadhanas are very crucial for our spiritual growth, and therefore, whatever it takes us to be part of the morning programs, we must do, we must accept. It's important. Sadhanas are necessary for our growth, are necessary for our spiritual strength, necessary for our nourishment. And so, there is no alternative. There are no options. We cannot grow spiritually without morning sadhanas. We cannot. And therefore, one has to be close to the temple so that you don't miss your morning sadhanas. That has been our strength. If I don't attend Mangalarati, it means I am doing online teaching, or I'm doing something which is so crucial, some meeting, some conference. That is why I don't attend Mangalarati. Other than that, I don't see why I should not attend Mangalarati. So it is necessary for our growth, and so we have to constantly participate in sadhanas. The morning hours are so important. The morning hours are the best hours for our sadhana practice. And the more you take advantage of the morning hours, the stronger you become. The morning hours are conducive for chanting japa. They are conducive for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. They are conducive for discussing spiritual topics. So therefore, one has to sacrifice his sleep to be part of the morning programs. Srila Prabhupada says, we have wasted our lives in previous existences. In previous lives, we had human forms, but they were wasted in pursuing sense gratification. once you come into the material world, your goal is sense gratification. And so for many, 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 many lives, we have pursued this path. Even as animals, we pursue this path. Even as insects, we pursue this path. Every living entity is pursuing this path of sense gratification. So Prabhupada says, what do we use this one life? We have wasted millions of lives in pursuing sense gratification, but where is the result? What do we get out of it? Another material body. That is a reward. The reward for sense gratification is another material body. Because we cannot complete the path of sense gratification in this material world. We are always hankering after one thing or the other. And as a result, material nature will always provide by giving us another body. At the time of that, whatever aspirations, whatever desires we have, that will give us the next body. So Prabhupada says, why don't we sacrifice this life, this single life, to make our life perfect? If we can minimize our sense gratification in this lifetime, we can solve this existential problem of samsara. So, and it begins with sadhana. The stronger your sadhana, the better. And sadhana is best conducted in the early hours of the day. Bhakti Charu Maharaj told us in one of Bhakti Tita Maharaj's Vyas Puja in Mayapur, he told us that he became a friend of Bhakti Tita Maharaj in 1976. At that time, he had just joined the movement, and he was Prabhupada's servant. And there were only two buildings in Mayapur, the Long Building and the Lotus Building. In fact, we also went to Mayapur, 83, 84. There were only three buildings in Mayapur: the Long Building, the Lotus Building, and Sulap Kitchen. Those were the three buildings in Mayapur, all of Mayapur. So, Bhakti Charu Maharaj said that all the devotees would stay in the building. And Srila Prabhupada and his GBC and sannyasis, they will stay in the Lotus Building. So, he said, he used to hear somebody chanting japa at 1 a.m. It happened the first day, second day, and the third day. He decided, who is this person chanting japa at 1 a.m.? So he got up, he wrapped his gamcha around his waist, and he went upstairs to see who was chanting at the top, on the rooftop of the Lotus of the Chakran building, the Long Building. And to his surprise, it was then Ganasham Das. Ganasham Das, that's the brahmachari name of Bhakti Tita Maharaj. He saw Ganasham Das chanting japa at 1 a.m. He said he paid obeisances, and Maharaj paid obeisances to him. And he asked him a question. I said, Prabhu, why are you chanting at this hour, 1 a.m.? Why? And this is not once, this is not twice. You are doing it every day. And Bhakti Tita Maharaj smiled at him and said, you are very fortunate. You have taken birth in India. You've taken birth as a Bengali in Lord Chaitanya's tribe. You are so fortunate. I am not fortunate. I've taken birth in the West, militias among militias, fallen people, degraded people, contaminated people. So If I don't rise up early in the morning to chant, how can I get purified? You're already purified. You don't need to rise at 1 a.m. to chant. But for me, I need to rise 1 a.m. to chant so that I can become purified. Bhattacharya Maharaj said he was moved by such a statement, by such a determination, by such a desire. Immediately, he bonded with him. Immediately, he made him his friend. And every day, he would always go to him and ask him questions. And they would discuss. He said he got a lot of inspiration from him. And since then, their brahmachari days, they remained friends until Bhakti Maharaj left the planet, and he also left. When Bhakti Maharaj used to come to Mayapur, he would stay with Bhakti Maharaj in his quarters. When I used to serve him, it was from Bhakti Maharaj's quarters. I used to go wash his clothes and go do many things for him. His last visit to Mayapur was 2004. It was in Bhakti Maharaj's room. He was staying, and I used to go there. So the point here is rising early, performing sadhanas. It makes you strong. Bhakti Maharaj stood out in many ways because he had a very strong sadhana. Very strong sadhana. He told me in his brahmachari days, he was chanting 42 rounds every blessed day. Every blessed day he chanted 42 rounds without fail. Now it's his standard. Until when he became an initiating guru and he has to write letters to many disciples, he has to get involved in helping devotees. He said it was difficult for him to maintain that 42 rounds. So he brought it down to 25 minimum. And then sometimes he would chant 30 rounds, 32 rounds, but he never went down below 25 rounds a day, even as an initiating spiritual master. So, sadhana is very important. If we want to attract Krishna's attention, we must have a very, very strong sadhana. And Krishna will be attracted. It doesn't matter whether we are grihastas, it doesn't matter whether we are brahmacharis or sannyasis. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a grihasta. He had a very strong sadhana. If you see his daily program, you'll be amazed. He slept few hours. Most of the time, he's chanting, he's reading, he's writing. So, sadhana is very important for our survival, for our progress. And every devotee, irrespective of our ashram, we must perform sadhanas. It's crucial. I hope I've answered your question.
Morning program.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, it was very inspiring. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
How many are married? And how many are about to marry?
So how many are already married? How many couples do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4, 5. So
Is there any question? You are married? Right?
I think yes, question. Mike,
microphone.
Hi Krishna.
Yeah.
switch it on.
Hi Krishna, thank you so much for the inspiring lecture. My question is that in Grihastha Ashrama we get attached to the spouse, and how to take it and how to live in that scenario.
I don't understand.
In Grihastha ashram, one gets attached to the spouse. Attachment. Wife is attached to the husband, husband is attached to the wife. So how do you balance? How do you balance that attachment with your practice on Krishna consciousness? Is that your question?
First of all, you have to know that it is Krishna's arrangement that you got married. I don't know, do you do the compatibility? Okay. So you have to put Krishna in the center. And that will help you to actually, the attachment may be there, but still you have to put Krishna that this is the person in between us. And that is the person we have to serve. Nothing else. And that's why the attachment will be strong, but sometimes you give each other a gap so that you do some other service, and when you come back together, it will look like a new. You understand what I mean? Like we are just newlywed. So this is how it is. It sounds strange to you, right?
I think the point she's making is you have been brought together by Krishna's arrangement. Because you have met in Krishna consciousness, because you got attracted to Krishna, and as a result, you have come together as a couple. So Krishna is the cause of your coming together. If you had not joined Krishna consciousness, probably you wouldn't have met in this lifetime. But because you've all joined ISKCON, you have come to meet, you've developed interest in each other, and you eventually become together as a couple. So the point he's trying to make is that Krishna is the cause of your coming together. So therefore, attachment will be there. We can't kill attachment. Prabhupada said like that, you can't kill attachment, but we can dovetail attachment. How do you dovetail attachment? Just realize that Krishna has brought us together for us to serve Him. So, service to Krishna is most important. Attachment should be centered around service. She is my husband, she is my wife. We are servants of Krishna, we are devotees of Krishna. We are brought together to serve.
They have to help each other.
Yeah, you have to assist each other in your sadhanas, in your practices, in Krishna consciousness. So whatever you want to do, always think, we are doing this for Krishna. We are doing this to please Krishna. So even though the attachment is there, but that attachment is dovetailed in the service of Krishna. Even if the children come, we see the children as Krishna's children. Krishna has sent us these wonderful kids, wonderful souls, to provide training, to give them education, to give them spiritual culture. So it's our responsibility to bring them in Krishna consciousness. We want them to become first-class devotees. Again, Krishna is the center. So everything you do in your grihastha life, you should think, we are doing this in order to enhance our service to Krishna. So that attachment, even though it may appear to be material, it will become spiritual, because you are serving Krishna, using that relationship, using that attachment to serve Krishna. So that attachment will become purified. With time, you begin to realize that this marriage is actually for Krishna's service, is for making Krishna happy. So you can't kill attachment, but you can dovetail it by making sure that both of you are engaged in the service of Krishna, both of you are engaged in promoting Krishna consciousness, both of you are together always thinking of ways and means to increase your services, to enhance Krishna consciousness, and that relationship will become spiritualized.
Those who want to have children should go through the Kabbalah samskara. We need to do it so that they can bring forth a good job.
Yes, Garbhadana samskaras is important. Yes, those who want to bring forth children, we should follow the laid down procedure for observing Garbhadana samskaras. Just as I quoted the verse from the beginning, samskaras tapasya jaya, samskaras, that by samskaras, birth is purified. So we want to bring forth purified children. We want to bring forth children with greater intelligence, greater piety that can participate in Krishna consciousness. We don't want to bring forth some duskritis, some rascal children who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And that means observing the samskaras. So every aspect of Grihastha Ashram can be utilized in Krishna consciousness. Every aspect. Just whatever you want to do, you ask yourself a question. Is this activity, how is this activity going to promote our Krishna consciousness? That's the question, the first question you ask. This activity we are about to engage in, how will it promote our Krishna consciousness? And in this way, we can actually spiritualize our relationship. We can dovetail our activities, our attachments in Krishna's service.
I just want to give some advice to those who are married, so that whenever you wake up in the morning, you pay each other obeisances. You respect each other. That is very important. The man should not think you should see her as a servant of Krishna. She also has to see you as a servant of Krishna, and both of you can help each other. And at the same time, when you want to chant, you should make sure you chant with your wife. And you should make sure that she chants properly. Both of you chant properly.
And that is in the house, in the house, but at the temple.
Anyway, they have to start from the house to go to the temple. That is how they have to be. And that will make their foundation strong.
In other words, there should be time to chant together. There should be time to read together. There should be time to discuss Krishna consciousness. It will help. We should not only sit down to talk family matters. We should also sit down to discuss Krishna consciousness. We can practice Krishna consciousness together. And that spiritualizes. Any spiritual activity you undertake, it spiritualizes the relationship.
This proper japa is very important for foundation.
Yeah, japa is our foundation.
They should know how to do it. Another time you try to do a seminar on japa.
Well, I'm sure they have been having a number of seminars on japa, but we can always offer something. Any other comment? Yes, Prabhu? Microphone? She wants to ask a question. Okay. You want to ask before he goes this side. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji. My question is, as practicing sadhakas, we sometimes need time for self-introspection in the matter that how deeply are we practicing Krishna consciousness, what are our long-term and short-term goals. is that sometimes we are not able to manage that time even for us for self-introspection, and another is even if we manage time, we sometimes, like for me, it's a struggle. I sometimes end up doing sense gratification in the name of self-introspection. So how to balance these two?
You got a question? It says self-introspection is necessary for practicing devotee sadhaka. But most of the times, there is no time for that self-introspection. And of course, it says she gets caught up in sense gratification when she even wants to do self-introspection. So how do you balance self-introspection with getting the right time to do that and resisting the desire for sense gratification? How do you balance that?
Our foundation is from the japa. If the japa is okay, everything will be very automatically. You understand what I'm saying? You chant properly, everything will come into. That's not. This is the foundation. Make sure you give yourself more time for chanting. Proper chanting. You will see the difference.
So in other words, you are saying that self-introspection is based on proper japa. If you do very nice japa, that in itself is self-introspection. Because the better the japa, the happier you are. The better the japa, the more your mind and senses are under your control. The better the japa, the more you are inclined to render services and expand your field of activity. The better the japa, the better the relationship with other devotees as well. So a good japa gives us the foundation to do things properly. And it gives us the satisfaction. And of course, when it comes to self-introspection as to whether we are achieving our short-term goals and long-term goals, good japa will provide the answers to all of this. Once you are doing good japa, you would see that your short-term goals are being achieved. And once your short-term goals are being achieved, your long-term goals will also be achieved, because it is the short-term goals that lead to the long-term goals. So a good japa is the foundation for achieving your short-term goals as well as your long-term goals. So every devotee, every sadhaka has to place emphasis on japa. Just as I mentioned, that Bhakti Maharaj, in his brahmachari days, he never ever played with his japa. And he became such a strong Vaishnava based on his strong sadhana, strong japa, regular, constant japa. So our strength, our wealth is based on strong japa. It's not very easy. It is easily said than done. But we should keep this in our minds, that if we have a strong japa, all our problems will be taken care of. That is a fact. A strong japa brings Krishna close. A strong japa opens our minds, opens our hearts. A strong japa puts us on a higher platform. And many things will happen. Many good things happen. So therefore, every devotee should aim at strong japa. And that means if we can rise a bit early, do a few rounds of japa before the Mangalarati, that is the best. Maybe by 3 o'clock one is up, by 3:30, or at most by 4, one does some rounds of japa before it goes to Mangalarati, and after Mangalarati, one continues with the japa. The rounds that you do before Mangalarati sets the pace. It sets the foundation for the day. If one can even finish one's rounds before Mangalarati, it makes you stronger. So we have to put a lot of emphasis on our japa, because that is the process for purification, is the process for advancement in this age of Kali. There is no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. The only process is to chant the holy names nicely, attentively, submissively, and one can become fortified, strong. Nothing will shake him or her. So, Mataji is saying, everything is based on japa. That is a personal feeling, personal realization, that everything, whatever she did, was based on her morning japa. And I can also say the same thing. Every day, I never miss my japa, unless if I'm very sick and I can chant. Or sometimes I have some early morning services, but before I sleep, I make sure the 16 rounds is done. Otherwise, before Mangalarati, I chant some rounds. After Mangalarati, I chant some more rounds. Sometime in a day when I'm less busy, I chant some rounds. Before I sleep, I chant some rounds. So like this. Japa is our main activity.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
When we are in association, so in Grihastha life, we have in temple we have devotees serving, and they have different services, like various services they are serving, and they are different in nature, and different kind of services they are doing. Also, when they stay, they have because of the past background, they have different needs according to the standard of life and all. So due to both two reasons, maybe there are many others. So there are comparisons amongst us. So, and we tend to judge other devotees, or we compare with them. So how to see that and then?
Very important question. I have always told devotees, comparing oneself to other devotees is wrong, because we do not know where each and every one is coming from. We are meeting in this life. We don't know what kind of austerity, what kind of practices, the level of Krishna consciousness one has been engaged in a previous existence to bring the fellow to this level. So comparing oneself with others is wrong. You just give yourself unnecessary trouble. Everyone is relating to Krishna differently, and Krishna is reciprocating differently. Krishna does not relate to everyone the same way. If that is the case, then why is Krishna saying, Ye yatamam prapadyanti? Krishna, he doesn't need to make that statement, but to let us understand that he deals with everyone according to one's surrender, according to one's attitude, according to one's love. So therefore, we cannot put two devotees on the same platform. We cannot. Comparison is not very healthy. Comparison becomes healthy when we appreciate, and we are comparing for the purposes of appreciation. This devotee is doing better than me. Krishna has blessed him to do better. May Krishna bless him to do more. He is fortunate that Krishna is blessing him. May Krishna bless him to do more. If we are comparing for the purpose of appreciation, that is okay, that is wonderful. But if we are comparing out of envy, that is not healthy. He is doing better than me. Why is he doing better than me? That is envy. He has more than me. Why does he have more than me? That is envy. He knows the scripture more than me. Why does he know the scripture more than me? That is envy. He is doing more books than me. Why is he doing more books than me? That is envy. So such comparisons will simply create problems for us. But if we are comparing that this devotee, he is sacrificing so much, he is rising early, he is doing so much service, this is wonderful. Krishna, please bless him to do more. If that is our comparison based on appreciation, that is very healthy. We are aspiring to be like him without any envy. Krishna will help us to reach there because we are appreciating his sacrifice. Krishna will help us to get there. So that is good. But when we make comparisons out of envy, out of jealousy, then that is detrimental to our spiritual life. So don't compare with others. Let's see, he has more facility than me. Do you know what kind of credit he has? No. He is coming from some background. I'm also coming from some background. I always bring this point up when I talk with devotees. Do not compare, because we are all coming from different backgrounds. Some people have practiced Krishna consciousness in a previous life. Some people, this is their very first time in coming in contact with Krishna consciousness. So how can you compare these two situations? If somebody had practiced Krishna consciousness before, and he comes into Krishna consciousness, he will be excelling. Everything about him will be excellence. You who has just begun, you are struggling to catch up. If you are comparing yourself with such a devotee, you are simply putting yourself in trouble. Of course, there is a formula. I think it's in the fourth canto. I think Manu Manu spoke to Dhruva that if you want to overcome the difficulties of life, there are 3 ways to deal with different people. If you meet people who are superior to you, you serve them. If you come across people who are superior to you, you serve them. If you come across people who are equal to you, you make friends with them. And if you come across people who are lower than you, you help them. Says these are the 3 ways we should relate. You will always be in an environment where you have people who are superior to you, people who are equal to you, people who are lower than you. Don't be proud that somebody is lower than you. Don't look down on others. Always try to bring them up. Always try to help them. And those who are your equals, don't be proud of them. Make friends with them. Inquire from them. Work with them. And those who are superior, we should try to serve them. So in this way, it says, one can overcome the difficulties of life. So that is in terms of relating to different grades, different levels of devotees. These are the recommended way to deal with the different grades of devotees we meet. But we should not compare, oh, this man has this, I must also have that. This devotee, he knows the scripture, I must also know the scripture. No, that shouldn't be the case. We should be inspired by devotees' achievements, and we should appreciate what they have, and by that appreciation, we can also get to where they are. So if we compare based on appreciation, that is wonderful. But if we compare based on envy, that is not very good. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mataji, a question from you. That from your past experience of Grahastha ashram and Krishna consciousness, is there any advice that you would like to give to Mataji?
From your experience as a Grahastha and Krishna consciousness, is there some practical advice you can give them?
You're not a full-time devotee, but for the Grahastha ashram, I can only say that you and your family be very conscious of what Krishna likes and what he doesn't like. You understand what I'm saying? In the sense that if you are conscious of it, you'll be able to help your husband and you'll be able to help your children, wherever you are. So the most important thing is that you are the pillar of the house. And you have to train your child properly. If you yourself are not understanding things, how can you impart it? It's impossible. So you have to go in to make more austerity, more prayer for all. And that's, you will see the difference. But actually, you make sure that you let them know much about chant properly. Because if one doesn't How to chant properly? You can't give up your bad habit.
Krishna.
As long as you chant properly, you will start seeing that whatever bothers you doesn't bother you anymore. If you start having that development, then you'll be able to handle anything around you. So first of all, you have to develop yourself. Then you can be able to do this.
So I think the point you want to make, I'll just do a little bit of elaboration. Generally, our mothers, they play a very, very crucial role in the family setting. I've met many, many Indians in Ghana, and those who are spiritually inclined, they refer to their mothers. They say, my mother was very religious, and my mother used to drag me to the temple. Many, many religious Indians we have met, they will always give credit to their mother. That when I was a child, my mother will always take me to the temple. So, mothers are key players in our spiritual development. In fact, the mother is the first guru to the child. Whatever the child learns is from the mother. If the mother is very spiritual, she would impart that to the child. And if the mother is very materialistic, he imparts that to the child. If the wife is very spiritual, the husband has less work to do. Believe it or not. If the wife is very spiritual, the husband has less work to do. If the wife is very materialistic, the husband has a lot of job to do. Very important. So we can see how mothers or wives, they play such crucial roles in our lives. And so that is the point she's trying to make. That the stronger your spiritual background, the stronger your sadhanas, the better your japa, the better your understanding, the more meaningful you can impart to the immediate family, your husband and your children. And that is why I think in the statement of Diti, in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Diti is telling Kasyapa that a wife is like a captain of the boat, captain of the ship. And one who has a good wife is like he has a good captain of the ship, of the material body. And he can sail safely across the ocean of Maya to the other side. In other words, a spiritually strong wife, a spiritually strong mother, a spiritually strong companion is very, very helpful. We also see the life of Kadarma Muni. Kadarma Muni was a great sage, tapasvi in the forest. And he got married to Devahuti, a princess, Swayambhuva Manu's daughter. But Devahuti did not consider herself a princess. As soon as he got married to this Brahmana, this sage, he adopted the lifestyle of the sage. She began to live like a hermit, with matted hair, dressing in 3 bags, not even taking her bath. She practically adopted the life of a hermit. So, the wife plays a crucial role in the spiritual life of the family. And therefore, if the wife is stronger, if the wife is active in Krishna consciousness, she will be of great help, great assistance to the husband and to the children. That is very, very important. If you are lazy in your sadhanas, if you are lazy in your practices, you will drag your husband down and you will not give proper education to your children. You would impart your laziness onto your children. So, if you want an active spiritual family, then your wife has to be up and doing. Your wife has to be strong in her practices. Then she can be of great assistance to the husband. And she will be a great inspiration to the children. She will be an acharya for bringing up wonderful children. That's the point Mataji wanted to make. Does that answer your question? Great.
It's not easy. Nobody should think that it's easy, but you have to try to practice, make perfect. In whichever ashram. Don't think it is easy.
No, it's not.
But you should know that you are focusing, Krishna, I want to serve you, I want to be with you. Under any circumstances, you have to continuously pray.
And endeavor.
That is it. Because you love Krishna, that's why you become Krishna conscious. That's why you come to the temple. That's why you join the society. So you have to be conscious of that. And always you have to pray. Apart from chanting, you still have to pray. Because it's the super soul in your heart. He can do anything. Do you think he cannot do anything? Are you limiting him? Please, give yourself to him. Under any circumstances. Surrender. And you will not regret it.
I think prayer is, many devotees don't see prayer as important because they're chanting japa every day. They say, I'm already praying. I'm chanting japa, I'm praying. So why do I have to pray separate or say some separate prayer? I've heard devotees make such statements. Then I asked them that when Prahlad Maharaj is speaking about the 9 angas of bhakti, why does he mention Vandana? There is Shravanam, there is Kirtanam, Smaranam, right? Then along the line he mentions Vandanam. So Kirtanam means to chant. So if chanting is already mentioned, Why does he go to mention Vandanam again? It means that is important. It is an anga of bhakti. A devotee must pray. All these songs we are singing, they are devotee prayers. Early morning we are singing some that is somebody's prayer to his spiritual master. Guru Puja prayer is somebody's prayer to his spiritual master. Gora Arti is somebody's prayer to Ranga. If you go through the songbook, Vaishnava songbook, all those songs, they are prayers by different Vaishnavas to the Lord or to the devotees of the Lord. So it means prayer is part of sadhana. It is. Shivaram Swami has come out with a booklet of prayers. I don't know whether you've seen some brown hard-covered book. I have a copy. I read it from cover to cover every day. And there are other devotees with different types of books on prayer. Sasaru Maharaj has written a book, Vandanam. Read it. Prayer is crucial. It is part of sadhana. Besides chanting, we should also come before Krishna and pray. My dear Lord, I'm trying to serve you, but I have a lot of obstacles. Kindly remove these obstacles so that I can serve you better. My dear Lord, I want to chant your names purely, but my mind is harassing me. Please help me overcome this mind. There are many things we can pray to Krishna for his help. Non-devotees, they go to the temple to pray to the Lord for their material needs. Even Kama Misra devotees, mixed devotees, they go to the church to pray for their daily bread. We as Vaishnav, aspiring Vaishnavas, we can also pray to the Lord, but not for what the Kamis and the mixed devotees are praying for. We are praying for pure bhakti. Krishna, I want to practice pure bhakti. I want to practice akinchana bhakti. I want to love you, but I'm having some difficulty. Please help me. We can pray. There's nothing wrong praying to Krishna to enhance your japa. There is nothing wrong praying to Krishna to enhance your services. There is nothing wrong praying to Krishna to help you memorize some verses in order to give nice class. There's nothing wrong. Any prayer that will help you become a better devotee, we should pray. And that's why Prahlad Maharaj has included Vandanam as one of the angas of bhakti. So prayer is crucial. We can, if we cannot say a particular prayer, then we can take one prayer of the acharyas. If we go through all these, go through the songbook, you'll find one prayer that suits your purpose. And you can recite the prayer. There's no harm. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of prayers, actually. Srimad Bhagavatam, every canto, there are prayers. Canto 1, Bhishmadev prayers are there. Canto 2, Brahma's prayers are there. Canto 3, Devahuti's prayers are there. Canto 4, many prayers are there. The Prakita's prayers are there. Canto 5, the prayers of Jambudvip. Canto 6, prayers are there. The Rishimuni's prayers are there. Canto 7, Prahlad Maharaj's prayers are there. Canto 8, Gangendra's prayers are there. Canto 9, Canto 10, all the cantos, they're full of prayers. So prayer should be our daily activity. And it's that prayer that connects us to Krishna. We are asking Krishna, please help me to be a better devotee. Please help me to chant better. Please help me to serve better. Please help me to study better. Please help me to relate to other devotees better. Please help me to be of some value in your mission. Those are wonderful prayers. And if we don't have, we just go through the prayers of various devotees, adopt one prayer and own it, recite it on daily basis. These prayers, they are like tonic to our bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Prabhu has to go at 1:30 in the night.
Yeah.
They have to take rest. So already we are almost 7:45. So we'd like to thank Prabhuji and Mataji for their.
You can give the number. If anybody have any special question, they can call us when we are around. So
Yeah, I think so. We can write down our numbers. If you have any question regarding your ashram, anything, we love to serve devotees. We want to help devotees make progress in Krishna consciousness, because we know my GBC Kavichandra Maharaj, he says that you have a very important service to render to the Vaishnava community. He says many devotees are in the Grihastha ashram and they need an example to guide them. And that is the role you and your wife have to play. So wherever you go, help devotees, especially those in the Grihastha ashram. So if there is any little service we can render, some little advice we can give, some little guidance. Your number?
Yeah. You give your own, you have it off head.
Sanjeev Prabhu, I have sent you WhatsApp number, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so the number is here. That's a local Indian number, but we also have WhatsApp numbers. But WhatsApp number also is good. People prefer WhatsApp. So these are our local Indian numbers. You can call. And then
that is my own. Don't worry. Just mention it. Then I still need it.
You still need it.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Okay.
Okay, then we can give.
Right,
Okay. Okay, these are local numbers, local Indian numbers.
You write your name on top of your name.
Ruchira Devi Dasi, DD. We have WhatsApp number is +233 240 396 396016 6016. And then local Indian number, what do? Local Indian number is 9064 772247. Then here, Srivas Das, local number is 7609 1989497, and WhatsApp is +233 2626 39531. Yeah.
So Hare Krishna. So let us thank Prabhuji and Mataji for sharing their wonderful realizations and also giving us some wonderful tips and guidelines and secrets to have wonderful Krishna life by loving chanting 3 times.
Haribo! Srila Prabhupada! Hare Krishna.